Was Mr. Rincon required to produce his license per their request?
Well, based on the situation and that he was told about the incident, I do believe
He was required by law?
he will be required to provide some identification, either verbal or physical.
Could you please state that law you're referring to?
I don't know.
You don't?
No, sir.
What crime was Mr. Rincon suspected to having committed?
He was just asked to identify himself. He was explaining about the incident in Laredo.
So you would say failing to ID?
Well, actually not failing to ID. They were telling him to identify himself first of all, because he was carrying a weapon in a public place, which Mr. Rincon claimed to be his property.
Was carrying a weapon on this particular event on his private property an illegal act?
No, sir.
Gonna have to stop the recording. Duty, back up.
We are on the record. This is the video deposition of Lieutenant Ricardo Ramirez in the matter of Ismael Rincon versus City of Laredo, Texas, et al., cause number 521CV45, pending in the United States District Court, Southern District of Texas, Laredo Division. We're located in Texas Pictorial, 2611 East Elm Street, Laredo, Texas. Today's date is July 11th, 2023. The time is 11:16 a.m. My name is George Gonzalez. I'm the Certified Legal Video Specialist and the Notary Public. Will counsel please introduce themselves and whom they represent?
Alicia Cray on behalf of Lieutenant Ramirez.
Ismael Rincon, pro se plaintiff in this case.
Lieutenant Ramirez, would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may lower your hand. You may proceed.
Morning, Mr. Ramirez. How are you?
Morning.
As you may be aware, I'm a pro se plaintiff in this matter for which you're being deposed, Ismael Rincon versus other officers with whom you worked in the city of Laredo. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind if I refer to you as lieutenant, or prefer other?
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant? Just want to let you know that I will try and make this deposition as brief as is reasonable. We are scheduled for this in a couple hours, but hopefully you can complete this in less time. In the questions, any reference to myself will be as Mr. Rincon, okay? If I ask a question you do not understand, just let me know, and I'll try to repeat or rephrase it for you. Please only respond to the question asked. If you do not, I will immediately interrupt and direct you to answer only the question asked. Otherwise, I think we can proceed, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go over a couple things. I'm going to remind you that you're under oath, which means you've agreed and are required to tell the truth. You plan to do that today, right?
Yes, sir.
For this deposition today, we're going to try and preserve a clear record, so when I ask a question, I would appreciate a yes or a no for an answer using ordinary words instead of hand gestures alone, as it will make the transcript more clear. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Also, if you would like to take a brief break, you're welcome to. Just let me know, and we will, however, I'd like to ask, we will not break in mid-questions. Do you have any questions before we begin?
No, sir.
As far as my exhibits, Exhibit 3 and 4 will be referencing to body camera and dash cam of Officer Benavides from the April 27, 2019 encounter on my property. This footage was provided by the Laredo Police Department in response to my later public information request. Exhibit 5A through C, referenced in this deposition, refer to footage from my cell phone camera from this same incident. Will you please state your name for the record, your full name?
Ricardo Ramirez.
Are you currently taking medications that would interfere with your ability to complete this deposition today?
No, sir.
Do you have any medical conditions that would interfere with the ability to proceed with the deposition today?
No, sir.
Did your attorney help you prepare for this deposition?
No, sir.
Objection privilege.
Who is your current employer?
City of Laredo Police Department.
What is your present job title?
I'm a lieutenant.
How long have you been employed by the city of Laredo?
36 years, 9 months.
Were you employed by the city of Laredo on April 27, 2019?
Yes, sir.
What was your job title at that time?
Lieutenant.
How long had you been employed as a peace officer with the city of Laredo at that time?
How long was I employed? I believe it was, makes it like 34, 35 years.
What is your present age?
Present age, it's 59.
Were you born in the United States of America?
No, sir. I'm a naturalized citizen.
Have you ever been convicted of a felony?
No, sir.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime of moral turpitude?
No, sir.
Do you know what a crime of moral turpitude is?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain briefly?
Well,
Roughly.
I would say something that either is going to damage my reputation or the city or the department.
Fair enough. It means involving a crime involving dishonesty and fraud of that nature. Do you have any convictions of that?
No, sir.
Have you ever been sued for civil rights violations relating to your employment as an officer?
No, sir.
Have you ever been deposed in federal civil lawsuit?
No, sir.
Have you read the original complaint or any of the amended complaints on this matter?
No, sir.
Have you watched the videos attached to the complaints in the past 2 months?
Past 2 months, no, sir.
Were you employed by the city of Laredo as a peace officer on the date of the encounter with Mr. Rincon, April 2019?
Yes, sir.
What was your work schedule on Friday, April 26, 2019, and Saturday, April 27, 2019, if you recall?
My work schedule, it's Monday to Friday, 8 to 5.
On that day, if you recall?
On that day, yes, sir.
Was that day shift, evening?
It's a morning shift, 8 in the morning to 5 p.m.
Do you recall the shooting of April 26, 2019 at approximately 10:30 p.m. involving Maria, the victim of Buckwheat Drive in Laredo, Texas?
Yes, sir.
Was it believed by the investigators to have been a .50 caliber weapon fired from the border in Mexico, but the bullet allegedly struck her in the
Sir.
cheek?
Yes.
Do you know if the crime was solved?
I don't recall.
Do you recall what were you doing at the time of the April 26, 2019 shooting?
I believe it was late at night, right?
Uh-huh.
So I was off. I was a lieutenant for the homicide section. So I was home. I got called to
Were on
go.
call?
Yeah.
Did you prepare and submit any reports regarding the shooting?
Did I?
Uh-huh.
No, sir.
This particular day of work, were you alone or was there another officer with you?
At the time of the shooting,
At the time of your duties, were you patrolling by yourself or?
well,
Someone-
I'm always by myself.
Okay. Were you wearing body-worn camera during this encounter with Mr. Rincon?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because I was in the plainclothes section,
Oh.
detective section.
You're not required to wear a body?
No, sir.
At approximately 12:43 a.m., April 27, 2019, a couple hours later after the shooting, did you arrive on scene in the area of 1102 South Meadow Avenue in Laredo, Texas?
I did arrive at the scene, yes.
Were you in your police cruiser?
Unmarked unit.
Mark. What prompted you to go to this location? Were you dispatch, routine patrol, pursuit?
No, I was the supervisor for the detective section, so I was working.
If you remember, did you get a notice from dispatch? Or
No, I had the
what
radio.
prompted you to go?
I had the radio on, so
You self-initiated?
yes, sir.
What do you recall was stated in general terms? If you cannot recall specifically, what was said in the dispatch regarding officer's need for backup?
Well, that I remember, it's officer investigator then, and it's still investigator Ernesto Elizondo called it over the radio that he got stopped someone with a rifle.
How long would you estimate or guess it took you to arrive after receiving the notice? Less than 5 minutes? More than 5 minutes?
I would say within 5 to 7 minutes.
Were you required to appear at this location?
Being the supervisor, yes.
Yes. This encounter took place in Mr. Rincon's property?
If I recall correctly, it was on the street that Mr. Rincon claimed to be his property.
Okay, let's look at Officer Benavides' body-worn footage of this incident. Exhibit 4, 00 through 0025.
It's a Ruger 1022. Yeah, it's a Ruger 1022 rifle. You guys notice that? This is not.
Do you agree that this video section depicts the location of the encounter with Mr. Rincon?
I believe so.
Would you agree there are at least 5 Laredo Police Department cruisers on scene?
At the time I got there, yes.
Would you agree there are at least, appears to be at least 7 officers on scene?
Could be.
Okay, let's look Exhibit 4, 0220 through 0240.
You're walking around with a gun at night. Pero ahorita. Yeah, it comes out of your cell phone. Metal.
In this video section of Officer Benavides' body cam, can you identify yourself?
I don't see myself there. So.
If you want, we can play it again. Do you want?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we play it again?
You're walking around with a gun at night. Pero ahorita. Yeah, it comes out of your cell phone. Metal.
Is that you? And
I would say the
blue
plain
shirt?
clothes.
Okay. Can you identify the following officers in this video? Officer Elizondo,
It's Officer Elizondo, and I believe it's Officer Benavides. And I can't make the other one. So.
Officer Fernandez,
I didn't clearly saw Hernandez, I'm sorry.
Do you know the person behind me handcuffing me is Officer Fernandez?
From
make it
the
out?
back part, I don't recall.
Who else can you identify besides those three officers?
Like I said, it's only the two officers and myself.
Okay. Let's look at Officer Benavides dash cam footage from this incident recording. Exhibit 3 at 1:47 through 02:35.
You want to go to Exhibit 3, 147 to 235?
Exhibit 3, 1:47, 2:35. Yes.
Someone took my time on back up. No, I didn't break work seizure. Robot 164 talking. Estoy haciendo 80.
You can attack here by about history.
Sorry?
Where you provided the tax here by about this middle.
74, go ahead.
Is that Officer Elizondo reaching to take Mr. Rincon's cell phone?
And what part of the video? Can you replay it?
Can we replay it?
Someone took my time on back up. No, I didn't break work seizure. Robot 164 talking. Estoy haciendo 80.
You can attack here by about history.
Sorry?
Where you provided the tax here by about this middle.
74, go ahead.
Is that Officer Elizondo reaching to take Mr. Rincon's cell phone?
Yes, sir.
Do you know why Mr. Rincon's cell phone is being seized?
Objection calls for speculation.
You can answer.
I don't.
Have we played 5A? We haven't. Okay, we're gonna look at another angle from the same portion. It's gonna be Exhibit 5A, 00 through 0038.
No. What's your name? No. What's your name? 0002-864.
Why are we making an issue of how?
Porque it shouldn't be an issue, todo es mi propiedad. It shouldn't be.
We just want to make sure. You can record all you want.
1399, 1332, someone took my time on back up.
Just give me your name.
Go somewhere?
Just give me your name.
No, I didn't break work seizure.
You see my name here.
No,
Robot 164
You're gonna talk to him right now.
¿Cómo te llamas tú?
Estoy haciendo 80.
What's your name?
Hey,
¿Cómo te llamas?
Listen to me, bro. Listen to me.
Detention, my
I just want your
apologies.
name.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Does this video section depict you in frame near Mr. Rincon?
Yes, sir.
Does this video section demonstrate Officer Elizondo walking away from the hood of his cruiser towards Mr. Rincon?
I believe so.
Does this video section demonstrate Officer Elizondo reaching and apparently taking Mr. Rincon's cell phone while he is recording the encounter?
Yes, sir.
Does this video section demonstrate Officer Elizondo approaching? Oh, I'm sorry. I asked that question. Does this video section demonstrate that Mr. Rincon's phone has been taken from Officer Elizondo?
From Officer Elizondo or from,
It's
can you
been
repeat that
taken-
question?
Let me read again, I'm sorry. Does this video section demonstrate that Mr. Rincon's phone has been taken from him by Officer Elizondo?
Yes, sir.
Did Officer Elizondo ask Mr. Rincon to give him his cell phone?
I don't recall.
Would you say that in this video section that Mr. Rincon willingly gave Mr. Elizondo his cell phone?
No, sir.
How would you describe the technique Mr. Elizondo used to seize Mr. Rincon's cell phone?
I don't understand your question.
How would you describe the technique or the way he seized the cell phone from Mr. Rincon?
Just grabbing the phone, that's it.
Would you agree it may be a snatch?
It's a grabbing of it.
Is there a name used by Laredo Police Department or its officers for this technique, taking someone's cell phone or other small property?
No, sir.
During this encounter at this time, was Mr. Rincon holding his phone and recording the encounter an illegal act or crime?
Objection calls for legal conclusion.
You can answer.
Yes, sir.
It was an illegal act?
The what?
You want me to ask the question again?
Yes.
During this encounter at this time, was Mr. Rincon holding his phone and recording the encounter an illegal act or crime?
Was it an illegal act or illegal act?
Illegal.
Illegal, no, sir.
Okay, let's continue with the next portion of Exhibit 3, 0235 through 0250.
232 to 250?
235.
No, I didn't. Well, you provided the tags here by Gladius Shield.
No, you go ahead.
George Mary Sam, 0798, Texas. Come back to a Ford Street.
Does this video section demonstrate Officer Elizondo directing Officer Fernandez to handcuff Mr. Rincon?
It's too far away, I can't actually say.
At any time during this encounter, did you observe Mr. Rincon attempting to flee?
No.
Does this video section demonstrate that Mr. Rincon was threatening any of the officers?
No, sir.
Does this video section demonstrate Mr. Rincon being violent or acting as a threat to anyone?
Not a threat.
Being violent?
I would say it was a little bit vocal, outspoken. That's about it.
Is there a law that allows you to detain someone for being vocal or being protesting verbally?
Well, it all depends on the situation, sir.
So it may be.
Yes, sir.
Does this video section demonstrate that there are at least 3 officers surrounding Mr. Rincon?
Yes, sir.
Does this video section demonstrate that you, Lieutenant Ramirez, was within approximately 7 feet of Mr. Rincon while he was being handcuffed?
Yes, sir.
If you know, why did Officer Elizondo direct Officer Fernandez to handcuff Mr. Rincon?
Objection calls for speculation.
You can answer.
You would have to ask him.
Was Mr. Rincon under arrest at this point?
Not that I know of.
Do the video sections presented thus far demonstrate that Mr. Rincon was asked to provide his personal identification to the officers on at least 2 or more occasions?
From what I gathered, as I arrived, yes, he was asked to identify himself.
Was Mr. Rincon required to produce his license per their request?
Well, it's up to the individual, I mean, but based on the situation that he had a gun, so I would say not required, but I mean, that would be just a matter of interpretation as far as him giving his information, which Mr. Rincon did not provide.
To your knowledge, did Mr. Rincon comply with this request?
From what I saw, no.
Was failing to provide his license a crime during this encounter?
No.
Lieutenant, are you familiar with Texas Penal Code 38.02?
I would need to see that. But by memory, I don't know.
That would be the failing to ID statute. Are you
Okay.
familiar with that statute?
Yes, sir.
You are? Can you, to your knowledge, what does that code say regarding the elements for that particular crime?
Well, like I said, an individual was identified following a criminal act.
No. Let's look at Exhibit 4, 0235 through 0250.
Yeah, it comes out of your cell phone, I don't.
Hey, there was your coming in 16, just a great coming on. You'll be up here when sure, black man.
Thank you.
Does this video section depict Officer Elizondo and Officer Fernandez reaching into Mr. Rincon's pocket and clothing area?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what they were searching for?
I don't know. Possible weapons. So.
Does this video section accurately depict Mr. Rincon protesting Officer Elizondo and Officer Fernandez searching his pockets and person by stating, no, illegal search, man, illegal?
Oh, yes.
Does this video section depict Officer Elizondo taking Mr. Rincon's wallet or other articles of property of Mr. Rincon's person?
I see him reaching for something. I don't know what he got.
If you know, what was the purpose of Officer Elizondo taking Mr. Rincon's wallet?
Objection speculation.
You can answer.
I don't know.
To your knowledge, at this time, was this standard protocol for Laredo Police Department?
Well, if it's a pat down, yes.
to retrieve items from
If
pockets.
it does, the officer believes it's either contraband or a weapon, yes.
During this encounter, was Mr. Rincon required by any law to give his wallet to any officer?
Objection, legal conclusion.
You can answer.
I don't understand your question.
During this encounter, was Mr. Rincon obligated to provide his ID when officers requested?
Well, based on the situation and that he was told about the incident, I do believe
He was required by law?
he will be required to provide some identification, either verbal or physical.
Could you please state that law you're referring to?
I don't know.
You don't?
No, sir.
Okay, let's look at Exhibit 4, 0304 through 0308.
Alright, that's what
During this section of video, does it depict Officer Elizondo referring to Mr. Rincon as cabron?
I didn't hear that.
Can we play it again? Jennifer, us to play it again?
Yeah.
Can you play it again, please?
Alright, that's what
Does this video section depict Officer Elizondo referring to Mr. Rincon as
I hear
cabron?
tienes rank, and other than that, I don't hear cabron.
What does cabron translate to under these circumstances in English?
In English, it would say like tough guy.
Do you know, did Officer Elizondo call Mr. Rincon a cabron because he protested the search of his person?
Objection, speculation.
You can answer.
I mean, you would have to ask him.
At this point, was Mr. Rincon under arrest?
No, sir.
Let's look at Exhibit 4, 0342 through 0346.
This will be, want to answer the question?
6124.
This video section demonstrates Officer Benavides telling Mr. Rincon to answer the questions.
He's asking questions.
Is he telling Mr. Rincon to answer?
I didn't hear that.
You want
You want to replay? Because I didn't hear him.
Can we replay it, please?
Questions, this will be, want to answer the question?
6124.
Is that from 0342?
42 to 46.
Let me make a correction. It's going to be 0339 through 0346.
Me está lastimando la mano. As soon as you answer the questions, as soon as this will be, want to answer the questions?
6124.
Does this section demonstrate Officer Benavides telling Mr. Rincon the sooner you answer the questions, the sooner this will be over?
I believe it's Elizondo, the one who says not Benavides. Can you replay it? Because I think I hear Elizondo's voice.
The person wearing the body-worn camera is Officer Benavides.
Okay.
I believe Elizondo was still in the patrol in his unit.
Me está lastimando la mano. As soon as you answer the questions, as soon as this will be, want to answer the questions?
6124.
This video section demonstrates Officer Benavides telling Mr. Rincon the
Yes,
sooner
sir.
yeah. Was Mr. Rincon being held handcuffed and in custody because he was not answering questions?
She was in custody, but it was not because of not answering questions.
Why was he detained and in handcuffs?
Like I said, I mean, you would need to ask the officers.
Do you know what question or questions Mr. Rincon was required to answer in order to end this encounter?
No, sir.
Objection, speculation.
Now let's look at Exhibit 4, 1810 through 1903. This is approximately 15 minutes after Officer Elizondo took Mr. Rincon's cell phone and wallet.
Tiny asked me, hey, when you border patrol, Rodriguez just to know that they were your ID, for whatever reason you think you don't have the ID or something. No, that's your problem. That is your problem. You do a better job of identifying yourself. Late at night. I'm just lighting you up. Hey, that's about to be exchanged. No, report this, bro. You carrying this late at night is not legal. Listen, that's your problem. You're not a good listener. Okay. We're crossing the street. I have a public park. No, that's us. But that's the safety park that. But listen up. Listen up. That's the safety park that we patrol. Okay. There was just a shooting on the Mexico side where a lady on this side got shot. Okay. There's plenty of witnesses. They're all cop man.
This video section depict Officer Fernandez being directed by Officer Elizondo to free him or otherwise remove Mr. Rincon's handcuffs.
Yes, sir.
Did he comply with this directive?
I believe so. One hand is out.
Does this section of video in Exhibit 4, 1810 through 1903 depict Mr. Rincon after receiving his cell phone from Officer Elizondo, activating the camera and recording Officer Elizondo and this encounter for a second time?
I believe so.
This video section demonstrates Officer Elizondo taking Mr. Rincon's cell phone from his hand for a second time?
Yes, sir.
If you know, did Officer Elizondo turn off Mr. Rincon's cell phone recording function application at this point?
I don't know.
This video section demonstrates that Officer Elizondo withheld Mr. Rincon's phone from him and then several seconds later told him to place it in his pocket.
Yes, sir.
If you know, what was the reason for Officer Elizondo taking Mr. Rincon's cell phone for a second time?
I don't know, sir.
We can look at the same event from a different angle. That would be Exhibit 5B, 00 through 0038.
That's your problem. That is your problem, man. If you do a better job of identifying yourself late at night, you're carrying this. Hey, it's about to be exchanged. No, record this, brother. You're carrying this late at night.
It's not illegal.
Listen, that's your problem. You're not a good listener.
Okay.
We're crossing the street. That's a public park. You own that side. But that's a city park that. Listen up. Listen up. That's a city park that we patrol.
Okay.
There was just a shooting on the Mexico side where a lady on this side got shot. Okay.
This video section depict essentially the same account to the previous exhibit just presented to you?
Yes, sir.
If you know, why was Mr. Rincon held for approximately 20 minutes?
Well, he was explaining about the situation that had happened and the situation in hand.
What crime was Mr. Rincon suspected to having committed?
He was just asked to identify himself. He was explaining about the incident in Laredo.
So you would say failing to ID?
Well, actually not failing to ID. They were telling him to identify himself first of all, because he was carrying a weapon in a public place, which Mr. Rincon claimed to be his property.
Was carrying a weapon on this particular event on his private property an illegal act?
No, sir.
Do you recall Mr. Rincon stating to Officer Fernandez that he had injured his shoulder when Officer Elizondo and Officer Fernandez searched his pockets during the initial moments of the encounter?
I don't recall.
Do you recall Mr. Rincon requested EMS assistance on at least 3 occasions?
No, sir.
What was the reason for not contacting EMS?
I mean, we need to ask the officers there.
You were their direct supervisor, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are they required to call EMS when a citizen is asked, a person that's being detained asked?
Yes, sir.
You are required?
Yes, sir.
Let's look at Exhibit 5C, 00 through 0040.
To batch number? To batch number?
894.
894. Okay.
Eh? What do you want?
Porque voy a hacer el complaint.
You don't want to identify?
That record in your hand, that's why I'm lighting you up. Which is?
Yeah.
No.
Basically, so that way clear your
Okay, ¿qué es tu batch number?
I don't have to read. Just.
No, no es tu policía.
It's your
No
property.
es tu policía. Le preguntamos al chief.
So, this is your property, you will check, you're clear, that's it.
Near the end of this video, Mr. Rincon asked you for your name and badge number. You told him the scene was clear, correct?
Yeah, but once I told you that you will check, you will release.
When you said the scene was clear from what?
Basically, that we did check the weapon. The weapon was not either stolen, I mean, whatever. In the situation on hand, I mean, there's no other investigation to be followed.
Were you required to run serial numbers whenever you detain someone?
When
When they have firearms?
when we encounter a weapon, yes, we do run serial numbers.
You are required to run it?
Yes, sir.
Did you provide your name and badge number to Mr. Rincon?
No, sir.
Yes. Why not?
That's so no need to.
Is there any Laredo Police Department policy requiring uniformed or ununiformed officers to identify?
A uniform officer.
Okay. Do you believe that the conduct or actions of the officers on scene, including yourself during this encounter with Mr. Rincon, did not violate any Laredo Police Department existing policies at the time?
No, sir.
Objection, legal conclusion.
You were a lieutenant, Laredo Police Department at this incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you the senior officer on scene?
I believe so.
As a senior officer on scene, please state your duties and responsibilities.
Was not the senior officer. I mean, I would say the highest ranking officer.
Mhm.
It's to oversee that the situation is taken care of.
Okay. Can you detail a little bit more your duties and responsibilities as far as your supervising position?
Like I said, it's for the supervisor to oversee that everything's being taken care of, all the angles of the case are carried properly, and including for the detainee or whoever's we're interviewing or interrogating for him to provide the information.
Are you required, are you required to supervise officers and make sure they do not violate any statutes or laws?
Yes, sir.
The responsibilities include overseeing and directing the conduct of the officers and to make sure they comply with policies and procedures, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the United States Appellate Court for the Fifth Circuit ruling in Turner v. Driver from February 2017?
I don't recall.
Did you have any training prior to this encounter regarding this ruling that citizens have the right to record public servants in their performance of their official duties?
Not that I'm aware.
You did not have any training? Are you familiar with the United States Supreme Court ruling in Terry v. Ohio in 1968?
We need to see the statute.
Are you familiar with it personally?
I've heard of it, but as
You're
of
not?
now, I don't recall.
Did you have any training regarding this ruling prior to the encounter that during a detainment only an external pat-down of a suspect believed to be armed and dangerous is allowed?
Yes, sir.
You did receive training?
Well, through the trainings that we have, yes. I mean, we pat down an individual, like I said before. I mean, it's either if you find something that would resemble narcotics or illegal substances or a weapon, then you can check it out.
Do you have any training relating to this ruling that only a person detained who may flee is a danger to officers or otherwise is to be handcuffed if not under arrest?
Oh, well, the individual at that time, he was detained because he was refusing to identify.
So because the individual was refusing to identify, the officers were required to handcuff Mr. Rincon?
Well, the fact that he had a weapon, he might have other weapons in his possession.
Did you observe any pat-downs prior to them handcuffing Mr. Rincon?
No, sir.
Okay, last couple of questions. If this encounter were to take place today, would you conduct yourself exactly as you did back in April 27, 2019, or would you change anything?
Objection, speculation.
You can answer.
We'll do the same.
Same thing?
Yes, sir.
No changes? No more questions?
Order, sir.
This is the end of the deposition. The time is 12:09. We're off the record.